Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, an unexpected loss has a Longmont family reeling.
So it's like history repeating itself, and we just want everybody to know that Zay was an awesome kid.
How more than 100 people came together to honor the life of a teen taken too soon.
And so we've really invested a lot of time in access control.
Thousands of students are heading back to school this morning. We have a closer look at the security changes Denver Public Schools have made to protect your kids as the school year gets underway today. And new details about what happened inside a Lakewood donut shop when an RV crashed through the front. The owner is sharing his plans to move forward and what it was like being inside there. That was just a week ago. Still hard to shake those images.
A wild scene. The owner does sound determined to move forward, though. As we get our work week started, thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Lisa Hidalgo with us. It's going to be kind of a hot week back for the kids going back to school today.
Yeah, summer is over. Not in Mother Nature's eyes, though. We're going to take a look at just how warm it will get here later this week. Today's actually going to be pretty mild. 60s this morning. For those DPS kids and, well, all of you heading back to school on this Monday morning, we're going to be in the low 60s here early on. T-shirt and shorts weather, slight chance for an isolated storm or two this afternoon, especially for those of you down in Douglas County. We'll see there along the Palmer Divide and then south, a better chance for a few storms. Low to mid 80s today. Denver's going to hit a high of about 85. We'll see some mid to upper 80s to the northeast. 60s and 70s in the mountains, so a pretty nice day. We will see a few more thunderstorms pop up. We'll take a closer look here at our Futurecast coming up. Still seeing a little monsoon moisture, but we're going to get a break from that here by midweek, and it is going to get toasty. I'll show you when we're going to hit 90 coming up.
And right now we do have a better drive on I-70 out to the west side of town. Had eastbound lanes closed for a while. That was for some sign work that had to be happening on that eastbound side between Kipling and Wadsworth. All lanes just reopened in the last about 3 minutes. Take a look from the cameras out there, and you still see some a little bit of traffic that was backed up here back by the would be the camera back over here. It looks like it's all dissipated now, but that's the eastbound side. That's the eastbound side. I was showing you this camera over by Harlan, and it was showing some of the paving operations still out there with some of the cones. It looks like that's getting picked up too now, and so the drive time should be returning back to normal pretty quickly on both the east and westbound side of I-70 out west. The rest of the drive is wide open anywhere you want to go, and of course, watch out for all the kids heading back to Denver Public Schools today and RTD. They are having all kinds of problems with no operators for buses and trains. Check with the schedule here today before you head out.
Well, this morning, a Longmont family is going through the unthinkable, having to plan a funeral for their 13-year-old who was gunned down while playing basketball over the weekend. The boy's cousin was also shot, but was out of the hospital to pay his respects at a vigil last night. That is the cousin walking on crutches there.
Now, police did make an arrest in the case, and the suspect is a teenager as well. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is live where there is a memorial growing for the young boy killed. A lot of sadness in the community, Veronica, and a big question of how this could even happen.
That's the big question, Brian, but this morning you see just how much the community here loved that 13-year-old boy, Zay Rosales. You see it right here behind me, those flowers, the candles. There are some notes for the boy, some stuffed animals as well. This is just one way, one sign of how much people cared for him, and you can see it right here. And we're talking about dozens, more than 100 people who showed up yesterday here at Kensington Park to show that care and that love for the 13-year-old. They brought all of these items. They gathered here. They were hugging, they were crying, and mourning the teen, remembering just how full of life he was.
Zay was an awesome kid. Everybody loved him. He was loved by many, and as you can see, all the people that are here, he was a good boy.
And Zay's cousin, 15-year-old Elias De Herrera, he was also shot Saturday afternoon. He was shot in the leg, but he was home as of yesterday. He was even able to make his 13-year-old cousin's vigil here, spending some time and paying his respects as well. And there weren't only family members here at Zay's vigil. There were so many teens as well. We're talking about teens who should have been spending a Sunday evening getting ready for school today, maybe even sitting on the couch last night watching some TV, relaxing. Instead, they stood alongside their friends mourning another one of their friends, 13-year-old Zay. And you mentioned it this morning, a family left with so many questions, how this could have happened, why it happened. They do have one question answered though, and that is who did this? Police say they were able to arrest 19-year-old Yair Solis for attempted murder. That's what he's being charged with, and murder as well. He's accused of being the driver who shot the two boys. We're live in Longmont this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Still doesn't answer the why, and that's a big question
and
out
another
there.
teenager. It's just tragic. Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica. Well, students are making their return to Denver Public Schools today, and the schools will look a little bit different. All DPS schools now have secured doors that trigger an alarm when an intruder enters from the outside or when they're propped open for too long. Office staff will then be immediately notified and have immediate access to cameras that show the area surrounding the door. DPS also says they've replaced 900 cameras over the summer, and they've added 1,200 more.
If you keep bad things out of your building, you're ahead of the game. And so we've really invested a lot of time in access control and monitoring our entrances to our buildings and single point of entry to emphasize a secure perimeter and funneling everybody in and having checkpoints throughout that process.
I also sat down with DPS Superintendent Dr. Alex Marrero to talk about the district's new strategic roadmap dubbed Every Learner Thrives, which sets goals for students to achieve by 2026. We also talked about recent reports of infighting among DPS school board members. In an open letter, Director Tay Anderson wrote last week that interpersonal issues have sidetracked the board from their important work for students. What would you say to parents who are reading these articles about the school board not being on the same page when it comes to their students?
I have an incredible amount of respect for all 7 of them, because when I meet with them, not only do they push my thinking, I see their passion in every session. I want to acknowledge that perhaps when they get together, as of late, they haven't been in a common accord, but I know that's going to change because now we have a strategic roadmap and also data that tells us, okay, we need to all get together beyond the school board, meaning all of you who are listening in need to rally behind our students because we all need the support.
What does it mean to lay out a strategic plan, and how will that guide your decisions?
It's a strategic roadmap. Now, why? And that may seem insignificant for some, but it's very important for me. So strategic thinking doesn't go away. A roadmap, there's many ways that you can get to your destination. A plan is very rigid. And what happened during the pandemic, there were a lot of plans that were crumbled up and tossed out the window.
Now, we also discuss concerns about declining enrollment and school closures, as well as equity and closing gaps for students of color and non-English speakers. We'll post my full interview with Dr. Alex Marrero on thedenverchannel.com.
Well, to kick off the year, the district is holding a back-to-school event at Ellis Elementary today. They'll have a ceremony at the playground to welcome back students and teachers, and the superintendent and other administrators will be there to speak with students and their families. That event starts at 7:30 this morning. It's been a week since this scene, which was just shocking. An RV crashed into a popular donut shop in Lakewood. There were several people hurt, including 2 seriously. Thankfully, they are recovering. The building, you can tell, is beyond repair, but Denver 7's Christian Lopez spoke to the owner of the business, who sounds determined to put the business back together.
What started out as a normal Monday at Winchell's Donut House in Lakewood quickly took a turn for the worse when this RV went crashing through the building.
I couldn't breathe. It just stopped for a minute. And I don't remember. It was unbelievable.
Owner Hassan Batika says there were only a few people inside at the time.
And usually at that time I get busy. It would be 3-4 people here on the line. People putting cream and sugar right there. I'm glad there was nobody, only one customer. And I hope he's okay.
A 70-year-old man who Batika says is a frequent customer was thrown across the lobby. And it's hard not to think about how things could have ended much worse.
It's right in my neck size. I always stand right here, always like this. Wait for customer or just talk to customer. It will give me a bed. I mean, I'm glad everybody's okay.
Batika must now say goodbye to the location he's known for the last 23 years.
You can see that the walls have been all boarded up, and there is still a lot of rubble here on the ground. There is shattered glass, pieces of wood, the W from the windshield sign, as well as that pan right there that fell out of that RV. And the inspectors actually found that the building was so unsafe, it has to be demolished.
He's looking into other potential locations right now.
I seen a good location closer to here, 0.2 miles. It's good for my customer, good for me, good for everybody. I mean, that's what I need. I need to relocate this as fast as I can.
But he doesn't know how long that'll take. He's also facing financial obstacles. Everything is a lot more expensive than it used to be. He's hoping for some support along the way so he can be back with his customers, who have become more like his family, as soon as he can.
I get really upset just thinking about what I'm gonna do every day.
In Lakewood, Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
It is now just about 5:11, and we've got a pretty mild start to the day. We'll be in the 60s this morning, getting to near 70 degrees by about 10 o'clock, and then near 80 by lunch. So your out the door forecast is a nice one. We'll see some sunshine here through midday. Slight chance for a few storms this afternoon. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in a few minutes.
Taking a look over at I-225 and Iliff. At least the highway looks okay right now from this camera view, and you see some flashing lights down there. We do have a power outage in this area just a little bit west of I-225 along Iliff. About 450 XL customers are affected by this power outage, so we might have a traffic light or two that might be out over there, but otherwise a pretty good drive, at least on 225 across Aurora right now.
Thrift stores here in Colorado are having a moment. Why you may be fighting bigger crowds to score those deals. Plus,
it is the cherry on top of the Central 70 Road project. We'll show you the new play space for kids with incredible views.